trash online. I wonder if he felt a sense of obligation to play in the golden chair in previous years, and now he's like, no, you know what? I'm the 2-time world champion. I will play where I want to play.
Yeah, if anyone's earned it, it's definitely Mo. And already seeing Mo come out with Royal Ghost Magic Archer, so I'm wondering if this is going to be kind of like what we saw Ta run in game number 1. You know, yesterday Drill was so strong. Maybe now that Drill deck has kind of evolved to include the Golden Knight NATO combo that we used to see and love with Drill.
Sure, and we saw some Drill out of Egor as well yesterday. And sets up in the back with the Witch, and I'm excited to see some Evo Witch CRL gameplay, or get to cast some CRL gameplay with the Evo Witch.
Yeah, I mean, she's still great. One of the reasons why I think Golden Knight has really popped into the meta. You know, that dash really helps clean up the Evo Witch, cleans up all the skellies, then obviously gets him right on top of her to take her out before she's able to get too much more HP. And I'm wondering if Egor is just running. There was a version out there with, it did have Boss Bandit, but he was seeing Knight here, Spears, Hut, Evo Witch, and he might just be going straight control.
Mega Knight plus Royal Ghost set up on the left-hand side. And now we see the Evo Witch and NATO to pull all of that together. But a good Evo Ice Spirit. Yeah, wow. Nice play to preserve the Evo Witch, and we'll see if the healing can keep her alive a little bit longer. Snowball to clean that up.
Yeah, alive long enough to bait out a Snowball from Mo, and I guess we don't know if it was 100% necessary, but Mo felt it was, and now we're seeing Mo show his whole hand, going right back to basically what Ta was running, and you know, this is the thing we love about CRL and the meta evolving over the weekend, is that maybe this is the new drill deck for today.
When you think about how at the end of that exchange, Egor came out ahead to Elixir. Egor, a.k.a. Kazardi, those of you who are saying who's Egor. Egor came out 2 Elixir ahead, and what did he do? He used that to chip on the right-hand side and put this thing pretty much back to even. So just slight little interactions at this level when you have 2 world champions. So fun to watch. Here we go, final 30 seconds, and the Spears continuing to be a problem for Mo on the right-hand side.
Just going to say, we got to see what spell comes out here for Egor, and it ends up being the poison on top of all that, crossing the bridge. There's the Evo Snowball on top of the Knight, and then we see a big push over on the other side of the river here for Mo. They got the MK and the Golden Knight there. Egor running out of enough tankage on the ground, does get the second Knight in. Wow.
And NATO to pull all that together, gets the lineup, and a couple of bits of chip damage, 17-19 left-hand side, as we go into sudden death. And you saw the...
Yeah, you can kind of just...
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh, we saw kind of this double move, right, where the Evo Snowball took the Knight behind the tower, and then the Evo MK knocked the Knight behind the tower, and none of it really got what he wanted, but that's what he wants. Mohammed Light with a huge leap, the Ice Spirit late in front of the King Tower for the activation, and that just blew this thing wide open.
I mean, that was just a beautiful predictive snowball there from Mo. He sees the Spears come out first. He knows the second option has got to be either, you know, an Ice Spirit or maybe a Knight. Whatever it's going to be, it's something he can push far enough away from the MK and gets the MK on top of that left-hand tower. And now we finally see, you know, Egor doing a decent amount of damage on the right-hand side with his Graveyard deck. But damage done already on the left-hand side. But really, you know, only 600 HP. GY can do that in a heartbeat, especially with an Evo Witch on the board.
Bar Barrel trying to get on top of that Magic Archer. Graveyard in. Final minute. Triple Elixir flowing. Opportunities now for Egor to try to get some back. Does get some chip on that right-hand side. Not insignificant. 13-21, and he's forcing the Elixir conversation into the right-hand lane.
Yeah, Magic Archer, though, just like showing the absolute prowess of being able to take out those witches. Just absolutely a pain. The distance on it, the range on the Magic Archer, and then the ability to pierce through and take care of the skeletons. It's a great... It's just so fascinating to see the Golden Knight and Magic Archer be used as much as they are because of the Witch. And again, a perfect lineup there from Mo. He's one of the best to ever do the Magic Archer NATO lineups.
And you know what, Andrew? I think you got it right the first time. I know you corrected it, but I think the Magic Oucher is actually the right thing to call it in that situation because, ouch, for what happened to Egor in that moment. Graveyard in, 8 seconds left. Does he have a poison here to juice this thing? Trying to get a little bit on top. Can't do it. Can he do it? And Mohamed Light able to hold up, and exactly what we wanted from game number 1 of these two. Fireworks right until the very end.
I honestly am shocked Mo was able to get out of that at the end. There was the double Evo Witch on the board. The graveyard was in. He stopped thinking about the left-hand tower, defending the right, ends up getting more. He's on call, so here we go. Hopping into game number 2 here.
And everybody watching at home, the players do have a significant amount of time to choose their decks between games. And as you can imagine, with this being an elimination matchup, these two players certainly taking as much time to make the right call as they can every single time. And here we go with the Mega Minion in response to the Miner.
Yeah,
you
never
talk
gets
about,
old, huh?
Go ahead.
I was just saying, never gets old, huh? People in chat telling us to start the game.
Well, you talk about
8 years later.
8 years later. You talk about the evolution of the game and certain things having staying power. The Mega Minion's one of those ones that, I mean, there was a time when Mega Minion was in every single deck, and now not the same story for the Mega Minion as maybe once was.
Yeah, it just seems like there's so many other cards that can kind of do what the Mega Minion does and provide a little bit more utility. I mean, I think one of the biggest things to kill the Mega Minion was just the Phoenix. I think that's what so many people said, was the Phoenix coming into the game just made the Mega Minion a bit obsolete. I don't know if that's exactly the same sentiment that people still have, because obviously the Mega Minion is cheaper. But yeah, it's just one of those cards that very rarely shows up anymore. And it's a great card. Makes me a little sad.
And Inferno Dragon, a pretty easy response for the Giant. And interesting selection here out of Egor. It's kind of a classic beatdown deck with the Giant and Prince and the Boss Bandit. Not as classic with the Boss Bandit in there, but you get the idea.
Yeah, I mean, this is a really interesting deck from Egor. I mean, I don't know if this is the type of deck that I want to run against Mohamed Light, because essentially what you're hoping on is breaking through with the Giant, getting a good heal spirit in there, and then of course getting that Evo Bomber lineup as Mo Light brings out, Mortar against the Mortar God, but a weird version of Mortar. I mean, obviously we'll see as this game kind of unfolds, but I'm just not loving this deck so far.
Well, I think that one of the feelings that you're having is that it's really hard to get directly on tower. There is almost the only ways you get directly on tower here are the arrows and the zap. You don't have a lot of ways, so you're counting on breaking through and just having a big push roll downhill, which is hard in general in this game, especially though also against what you see here.
Yeah, and then the Evo Inferno and only having a Mega Minion to deal with it, and, as you can see here, he's kiting it away, but that Inferno is jacked. It's amped. We got an Evo Mortar on the board, a Prince behind. Evo Mortar is, I think, locked on top of the tower, and, yeah, I don't know, man. This deck, not great. Gets the zap to reset, misses it. Prince gets caught by the guards, and that's all she wrote, man.
This game feels, I mean, completely 180 turn from what was happening last game. Last game, we had this pitched back and forth battle, a tight fight between these two. And then, you talked about the maturity with Egor, you talked about the decision making. I think you were kind of going back to the 2020 Solo World Championship where he ended up playing the exact same deck 4 games in a row. And same thing here. I question the decision making here on this deck picking.
Definitely. I mean, this is exactly what I was kind of worried about coming into the day, and I was hoping that this was not going to be the situation that we saw with Egor, which was just that, I'm very good at Mortar, I'm very good at Miner Control, and he needs to figure out what else he's really good at. Mo's hype.